girl. Hey, hey, girl. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, hey, I'm okay. How are you
I'm
doing?
doing great. I am doing fantastic. I'm doing wonderful. I'm all right.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
What's new with you? What's new with you? What's new in the world of Florida? What's new in the
Do we want to go through that? I don't want to depress our listeners. But it's still Florida. It's still batshit crazy. It's a little bit less funny batshit crazy now, and more like, oh my god, my life batshit crazy. But it
Yeah,
it
that's
is
true.
what it is. We're all
Yeah.
going to be underwater soon enough. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
do you have a contingency plan for when that happens?
I mean, move.
To where?
Who knows? What do you want me to say? I don't. What do you want me to say exactly?
You and
Move. I don't.
Disney just moving out of Florida.
Right. I mean, me maybe because Mister Maim does love the mountains, so maybe we'll head up to the Carolina mountains. Who knows?
Ooh, looky there. You will be in Boone?
Probably Boone. We probably for the other friend, my other close friend
Yeah,
beside
but
you.
girl,
So
girl, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Boone. Here's the thing with Boone. Here's the little thing with Boone. Your husband likes having things nearby, likes conveniences, likes arts and not driving far to arts and conveniences. There are no conveniences in Boone.
I know. I mean, sure, but also like he does like that other part too, that weird private part. I know that it's hard to see that here, but he actually really does like privacy like that. So I don't know. By that time in life, who knows what he'll really be wanting? You never
It
know.
could be divorce. I'm proud of that one. He's a cold-hearted snake. Oh, look at this. I'm sorry, girl. That was. Oh no, I didn't want to put that. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Damn, girl, you go have Mama Mame calling you in a minute. Listening to this, she gonna be calling, be like, "Don't put that in this world."
So I was, I was sitting beside my husband on the couch the other day, and I was joking with him. I'm like, "Are you mad at me?" And he was getting ready to Google how to tell your partner that you're not mad at them, or how to tell your
Okay.
spouse that you're not mad at them. And because I
Uh
was
huh.
watching him Google, and it said how to tell your partner, and then he said, I want a divorce was like the first thing autofill, and he pulled that up. I'm like, you bitch. I take it y'all don't joke about that sort of thing, do you?
I don't believe we've ever joked about something like
Oh,
that, but I
okay.
mean,
Mhm. That's yeah, that's it's
it's
a
a
joke.
it's a joke. It's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a funny joke. It's a ha ha.
Totally, I
A
get it.
hee hee hee. A ha ha hee
Yeah.
hee.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Ha 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 ha
I
ha.
also joke about my other husbands.
Oh my
Um.
gosh! Now we do joke. We do make those jokes
Mhm.
sometimes. Like we've had. What was it? He does sometimes. Oh, when the phone goes off, if I send him something and he still has his uh text alert on, he'll be like, "Oh, it must be my boyfriend," and I mean that's as far as we go with jokes like that. We're not
Yeah.
that great at joking
Yeah.
about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's yeah. You aren't. Um. Over two. Oh God. Oh God, Lord, girl, what are we even doing here today? Are we doing a podcast? Is that why I've hit the record
We're
button?
doing a very important podcast
Okay.
because this is a good one, but this is the pre next episode, which is going
Shh,
to
don't
be
reveal secrets about what the next
ooh
episode is.
oh
Don't reveal secrets. I saw that my husband saw that was like, oh no, it's time.
One of my all times. One of my all times.
Is the next one good?
Oh yes.
Okay,
Oh
good,
yes.
good, good, good,
Believe
good.
the hype. It is.
The hype, girl. It's just you getting very excited. That is
Like I
the
said.
hype.
Like I said, please.
Speaking of the hype, hey Maim,
Yes.
did you know we have a Patreon?
I did not know that.
Dear listeners, if you go to patreon.com, Mims and Maim, you can throw some money. And dear patrons,
Yes.
you're not a patron.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, so used to saying yes.
And that's how you got pregnant twice. Dear patrons,
I got rid of him.
remember, you still does magical things. Dear patrons,
Thank you, Metamucil.
God almighty, where am I going? In the next couple weeks, we've got something new planned for you. We've got
Yes.
something new. We're going to announce it next week, so hold your horses.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
It or not. Let's not oversell it. It's
Okay, it's gonna be okay.
It's going to be a thing. Girl, you got to set expectations low. That way, when we do better than them,
I mean,
The
they're
patron-
already low when they joined this.
that's. Hey, Maim.
That's rare. Yes.
I didn't want to disagree with you or agree with you out loud.
Oh.
So I just thought I'd nod him and went, hey, Maim.
Yes.
Did you know that where are we at? Have another podcast.
Yes. Yes, I did.
It's
know
called
that.
Baking Sugar, dear listeners. It's a Designing Women podcast. Hey, Maim,
Yes.
did you know that we have merchandise?
Yes, I did.
Great. Have you gone to mimsmaim.com and bought something yet?
I went.
Well, that's half the battle. Hey,
Yeah.
Maim.
Yes.
Do you know what I like? Do you know what I
5-star reviews.
love?
5-star
5-star reviews. And we would like to thank our dear listener for leaving us a 5-star review. Where's my phone? Hold on. I'm
You're
not
so
gonna read the whole thing, but I do want to read one line. Let me go to where's the pod? There's
You're
that.
so good.
It is. They are a dear listener from our Bella's Mom 214.
Mm-hmm.
They're a dear listener from Baking Sugar, and they have now moved on to this podcast. And they were listening to the foot fetish episode of, and they are the first and only person to reply to our want and need to have reviews that just say foot fetish in them.
Finally.
So thank you, Bella's Mom. Thank you for that. It really made my day. And dear listeners, all the rest of you, 5-star reviews do help us.
Yes, a lot.
They do, because they make us more seen. They make us more heard. They make us more seen and heard. They make us go up in the levels. They make us, you don't even have to write something. You just leave a number.
Just hit that 5 stars.
Just hit that 5 stars and like and subscribe. Do whatever you want to, or don't, but we prefer if you do. That was a lot of words I just threw out there.
You did. I was a little concerned.
Most of it was fucking nonsense, too.
Yeah, like I said, I was concerned. I thought you were having a stroke.
This is season 3, episode 7, deadline for murder. So we're at the Boston Daily Sentinel, Maine.
Boston.
Well, let's take a step back. Dear listeners, we need to describe something for you. Back in the
Well,
day, back in the 80s and before, there were these things called newspapers.
oh yes, newspapers.
They evolved from twice daily things that were printed to items that we put on the bottom of birds' cages.
Oh,
So
the birds, they were well read.
they used to, they had articles and funnies and like things, and they were printed on paper. Paper's this substance made from trees, dear listeners, and they were printed with something called ink. Now, you may have seen ink when you used a pen. I'm not sure if you've ever used a pen or not. So yeah, and it
Those
was
were those were tactile writing instruments, correct?
that. Yes, ma'am. Tactile writing instruments, not to be confused with quills, which are in fact animal based.
Oh, I quills. Oh,
So yeah, and so newspapers came out twice daily, once in the morning, once in the evening. You can watch Newsies and learn a lot about the newspaper business. You could also watch that Meryl Streep and not get an Oscar in that WAPO movie. Yeah.
which movie was that?
The one where she was the owner of the Washington Post during Watergate. Um,
Oh, that's right.
you can also watch the one about the what's the one with what's your doodle with the Boston child abuse, the priest child abuse. Oh God,
Oh, yeah,
Mark Ruffalo's in it.
the one that won Best Picture.
Yeah, she didn't. She did. Did she win? I think she won too. Jessica Chastain.
No, it didn't win like a lot of the acting. It just got like
Okay.
the big one at the end.
Okay.
Gosh, I can't remember the name of that one either.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. I mean, it was actually a very good movie.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
these are newspapers, dear listeners. Newspaper. It's Statesville. It was a Statesville record landmark.
Is that still around?
It is. It is. It is. Warren Buffett owned it for a hot second.
The Statesville one?
Yeah. His Berkshire Hathaway bought a bunch of newspapers, like small
Wow.
newspapers. Yeah. And the big one was Charlotte Observer,
Oh, that's right.
and that one was the one that was out of Charlotte. So
Uh,
in Raleigh, there's
News and Observer?
the News and Observer. That is correct.
Yeah. Greensboro's was
The Record.
I don't remember Greensboro. News and Record, that's it.
News and Record. Yeah. And
Yep.
then Winston.
Ours is so there's two, obviously. This Fort Lauderdale's is the Sun Sentinel, and then Miami is the Miami Herald.
Yes, and the Miami Herald's very famous too.
Very famous. Yeah. They've done a lot of stuff.
Like in North Carolina, the Charlotte Observer and NNO are owned by like a conglomerate now, but the NNO is still like if you ever move to North Carolina, subscribe to it so you know what's going on in the capital. Like they still do some very good investigative reporting on the shit that happens in Raleigh, and tries to
Good.
yeah, them and WUNC try to keep the people on their toes.
Since a lot of stuff's going on.
Yeah. Look, at least we didn't completely get rid of abortion. Controversial yet brave. It's not even that controversial. Yeah, or brave. It's just a real opinion. Anyway, we're at the Boston Daily Sentinel, and all that stuff to talk about newspapers has absolutely no impact on this episode. I just want to tell you about that.
You just wanted to give some
I
background.
just want to give some background. And this is a newsroom of sorts. Well, we meet Billy, and a man walks in screaming, "Billy, Billy, Billy! Why did you rewrite my paper? Why did you rewrite my paper?" And this room, these three men are the three that guys, right? These three men were in everything in the 80s and
So
like
many
90s. Like Billy was in a lot of things. Laramie was in a lot of things, and
Yep.
Haskell was in a lot of things. Like all over the place.
So good.
Well, somebody rewrote Haskell, or Mr. Drake is his name, rewrote his piece, and we find out it was Laramie Bennett that rewrote it. Laramie Bennett. At first, I thought it was oh God, the voice.
Robert Stack.
Robert Stack. Just looking at him real quick, I was like, is that Robert Stack?
It does look like Robert Stack a little bit.
Yeah, it's not Robert Stack. He's Bobo Robert Stack.
Yeah, Bobo Robert Stack.
Yeah. Well, and Mr. Bennett now owns the paper.
Oh.
Well, Drake has a heart attack right there.
Oh, well, is he alive still?
Yeah, barely, but we're going to get some pic. Laramie says, come on in here and get the camera people in here, take some pictures.
Because he's a monster.
That boy is a monster. That boy is a monster. He ate my heart. He ate my heart. Oh, God. I love that song. I really do. That is one of my B-track Lady Gaga songs I love.
She has some great B-sides.
She does. She does.
I love her.
I know you do. I do too. So we're at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And JB comes in.
Oh.
And she goes talk to Mr. Drake, which his first name's Haskell. I'll call him Haskell from here on out. And JB's going to get him back on his feet. She's going to pay for his bills, his telephone bills, his car bill, his cable bills, his bills.
I'm sorry.
That would get you, girl.
That would get me. Actually.
And he wants Laramie Bennett's head on a platter. We find out that the interview that was rewritten was JB's interview. And, he shows her this horrible paper. And apparently she swings with a married man.
Yes.
And it's just her, falling over another dude.
I mean, I love that picture.
I do too. Angela looked goofy.
Yeah. I mean, I thought she looked adorable, personally.
She did. So we're back at BDS, which is the Boston Daily Sentinel. I'll be calling it BDS from now on because it sounds like a Korean pop band.
Oh, I thought it sounded dirty.
Or like a disease. Do you have BDS?
Oh my God, I do.
Try Nurivia, the drug for BDS.
Oh no.
It may cause anal fissures, death, or your soul temporarily leaving your body.
I mean, it's not the first time.
Girl, so with all this Wegovy and all the other fat drugs out there,
yes.
do you ever think about? Did you watch Doctor Who?
Yeah.
The Catherine Tate one with the little lipid people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that all the time.
Do you ever go back and rewatch Doctor Who?
No.
Oh, I do sometimes.
Because I like 3 seasons of it, 4 seasons. After Catherine Tate.
Not rewatch all of it. Just rewatch your favorite Doctors.
I mean, sometimes not the whole thing though. I'll pick certain episodes.
Yeah.
And Blink. That episode, if to rewatch it loses itself a little bit because the first time you see it's like, oh my God, this is fantastic, and then it's like,
yes.
Then you know what's going to happen. It's still great, but it loses its chilling effect.
It loses its zing.
Ooh, a fresca. That sounds good.
Ooh, I haven't had a fresca in a long time.
Have you had a Mexican fresca?
Not knowingly.
You would know. It's in glass,
mm-hmm.
and it's made with real sugar.
Oh, like Mexican Cokes.
Yes. Which, Fresca in America is a diet drink.
Yeah.
But in Mexico, no.
That's really exciting.
It is delicious. It is
Uh,
delicious, man.
okay, I'm gonna have to go to like the Mexican grocery store and hopefully they have it.
You mean Publix?
No, well, and depending on the neighborhood, yes, but in my neighborhood, no.
Uh, you can get some nice conditions at your neighborhood one.
Yes.
Okay. So JB shows up at the Boston Daily Sentinel. We meet Walter, who is the editor emeritus of the paper, a former owner, and Kay. Um, and as JB comes busting in this boardroom, Lamar's like, "Oh, you're here about the story?" And she's like, "No, no, no, I'm not. I need to talk to you." Clyde, it's time for my meds, Clyde, it's time for my meds.
Oh, yes. Let me get your meds for you.
Thank you. JB's like, this will only take a few minutes. So Clyde, who is Lamar's muscle, comes back in with the meds, leaves them on the table, and invites JB to the party later on.
Oh, nice. A party.
So he takes his drugs. Billy hands him the pill, and he takes it. And Kay walks out with JB and Perry, who was Walter's son.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, yeah. It's very a fluid board meeting, taking of a pill, and a leaving. That's what just happened.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
It seems like it's not important. It's going to be important.
It's very importante. That's French.
Importante. It sounds Italian.
It's French.
Oh, okay.
I promise you,
I
I'm multilingual. It's the simple things, isn't it, Maim? It's the
It
simple
is
things.
actually. They catch me off guard so much.
Oh God. So we're at the party. We're partying, Maim. We're partying.
We're partying. It's a good time. We're partying. It's a good time. Yeah. Ooh, Jessica's being so sassy.
So we meet Perry's sister Ellie.
Boy, she's everything.
She is wearing a bridal gown.
Yes.
And she loves all the money that they're making now, right? Because she is one of the heirs of the newsroom, and she is happy.
I'd be happy too.
Yeah, and Walter's just drinking to get through it, since he used to own the BDS. JB comes up, talks to Walter, and like, no, JB goes and talks to. She talks to them, then she goes talk to Lamar. I put Walter there. She goes talk to Lamar, and she's like, I'm not asking you to pay Haskell's bills, but Haskell would be a great reporter for you, and you should really bring him back here. And he's like, no, that's not the kind of paper we run, and I don't want him. And Walter then confronts him right there. Walter strikes Lamar, gets
and
ketchup.
The skin too.
Yes, there's a smear of ketchup on Lamar's face. Ellie comes up with a napkin. No, I'm sorry. My dad got his ketchup on your face. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So let me ask you this at this point, because I was sitting here having this vibe a lot. Do you think they were doing stuff?
Who?
The daughter and the guy.
No. I think the daughter really liked the money.
Okay.
And wanted to protect that. That's what
okay, when she went to go clean that cheek, I was like,
nah, because she wasn't upset at him dying.
Yeah.
Which, let me get to that. I shouldn't have revealed that, dear listeners. I'm sorry I revealed that. Go back and erase that from your mind. Is it gone?
Boo-boo, they're not going to remember this tomorrow.
That's true. So Walter does a toast. Ellie wipes off the ketchup from his face.
The ketchup.
Walter does a toast, drinks some bourbon, and keels over dead. Not Walter. Why do I keep saying Walter?
He looks like
Laramie.
a Walter.
He
He looks like a
does.
Walter.
Laramie. It's Lamar. What the fuck, dear listeners? Let's try this again. La- Walter strikes Lamar. Lamar does a toast and fires Walter. Lamar drinks some alcohol. Lamar dies. Walter is fine. Walter is fine. Maim, I've got something important to tell you that I need to get off my chest.
Okay.
Walter, he's fine.
Oh,
Lamar, he's dead.
I thought now is when you're gonna say you're having a stroke.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. No bread. We're good.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. We're good.
I'm good. I'm fine.
Oh God, I've been doing this for too long. Years. It's been 87 years.
It's been so long.
Well, Kay immediately calls Billy.
Sunrise, sunset.
Anna Devka.
We've done this so long.
Busted down, beaten down, Anna Devka. I hated that song.
That's how our brain feels, right?
It does. It does. God. You know, all the rest of the songs, like Sunrise Sunset's a beautiful song. The rest of the movie or musical, it's very long, but it's very good. Anna Tevka just doesn't do it for me.
Okay. I don't think that makes you anti-Semitic. I think it just you kind of said it in a way I'm like, it's okay for you to not like it. It doesn't mean anything. It's okay.
That's no, dear. That does not make you. Just because you don't like part of Fiddler on the Roof, that does not make you anti-Semitic. Jesus, but oh God, does that? Okay, where are we at? Kay calls Bill. She's like, Lamar's dead. I'll take
what?
I'll take over the medical examiner. All right, here I'm ready. What's the story? So the sports columnist named Laster, we don't find out the black man's name till 3 scenes later, but his name is Lassiter.
That's my boy.
Yeah, he's
Remember him?
No,
From
I
a different
don't.
world.
Who was he in Different World?
He was the colonel from a
He
different world.
was the colonel from a different world.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Future husband of Jaleesa.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Which,
Jaleesa.
when you think about that in hindsight,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of weird actually.
Why is it kind of weird?
An older widowed professor ends up with like one of the students.
See, but I always took it that she was like an adult student.
Well, of course they're adult students. They're in college, but it's still
No. I meant like a continuing, like an adult student. Because how old is she?
Jaleesa's supposed to be the same age as the other girls.
Girl, she didn't feel like it. Did she?
I'm gonna leave that alone.
I mean, you mean to tell me that her and oh God, I cannot remember. Freddie seemed like they were the same age. Oh no, ma'am, you froze. I'm gonna pause a second. You mean to tell me you think Freddie and Jaleesa look the same age? That was the question I had before we got so rudely interrupted.
I mean, yes, I thought they were supposed to be all the same. Well, no, not Freddie and Jaleesa because Freddie came later. Remember, Freddie was the next class. It was Lisa Bonet, Marissa Tomei, and Jaleesa. Those were the 3 original girls.
Marissa Tomei.
Yes.
Marissa Tomei.
A Different World is how Marissa Tomei became famous.
What?
She was an original cast member.
What?
You don't remember that?
No, I do not.
You're thinking about the second class of A Different World.
I do not remember.
Marissa Tomei,
Yes,
Jaleesa,
she was.
and yeah,
And Lisa Bonet.
yeah.
Oh my God.
That's where Marissa Tomei got her start.
How long did she last on it?
Not long because she got famous. She was only on there for like I think a season and a half, and she already had Hollywood calling.
And Lisa Bonet had nobody calling.
She went back to Cosby Show, girl.
I know. I know. Well, and then, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 So Lassiter says Billy and Lamar go way back.
Yes.
And he also's like, hey, JB, do you want to go out tonight? And JB's like, not really, but I'll take a rain check on it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I was feeling the same way. I was like, wait a minute, hold on,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
come
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
now, come on now.
And JB mentions it could have been murder because alcohol and certain drugs can cause an aneurysm, and it looked like an aneurysm.
What?
Clyde comes up, and
Hey,
he's
Clyde.
very upset that Lamar's dead.
Oh Lord.
So we're now at JB's hotel, the ugliest '80s hotel I think I've ever seen. I mean, it's apparently very posh because she's got her toast in a little toast caddy. I don't know if you noticed that.
I saw that.
Yeah, but like the
I
rest
loved
of
it.
it's very, very, very little old lady from. Yeah,
It was.
it is a room they had at CBS lot is what it was. Do you have a hotel room? Yes, it's already set. Let's go.
Cool. Awesome. Let's go to this now.
We
Why
meet
does it smell like Matlock?
Lieutenant Caruso and Sergeant Tierney.
There's a lot to unpack here, girl.
Yeah, Lieutenant Caruso is a woman.
Not just a woman with a giant chip on her shoulder.
Yes. So the medical examiner thinks it could be murder. JB, how do you think it could be murder? If you what? Huh? You both think it could be murder.
I love this part. This is the first time anybody's ever done this, by the way.
Yeah,
on the show where a person's like, "Hey, you said how the person died before we even knew."
And
how
you
they
know,
died.
you know what else? You know what else, JB? They did print that horrible story about you, so you have motive. And JB just rolls her eyes. And it's like, number one, find the glass. It should have fingerprints on it. The glass is already cleaned. Number two, methylthionate and alcohol do not need to be administered at the same time. They could be administered separately. Number three, I'm leaving unless you're charging me. Are you going to charge me or not? Because I'm done here. And JB puts on her little slingback pumps and walks out the door.
Like, come on, JB, you better show them, girl.
It's true.
Come on, girl, you better show them.
It's true. Her easy spirits, sprees.
I didn't know kids made a pump. Is those velour? Sorry.
Not a kid's pump. Oh, girl, I have a story about kids.
Of course you do.
Back in the day, my mother, she liked those kind of boat shoes, those kind of white boat shoes a lot on boys. I don't know why. She had some thoughts about fashion.
Yes.
She bought me a pair, and I had huge feet as a kid. Like, I don't know if you know this.
I remember, dude.
And like they were flat. They're still very flat. They were very uncomfortable shoes. Anyway, she was like, I wore them to school once, and people made fun of me because they were girl shoes, and I was like, oh no, I hate this. I hate this so much. And that's my story about kids.
I mean, I mean, at least at least people didn't just say that you just looked physically like a girl. And it was just your shoes, so you could not wear those shoes again.
Did people say you physically look like a girl?
People called me a girl for like the first 4 years of school.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, back when my hair. Why do you think I went from having long hair to short hair?
Because your mama didn't want to deal with it anymore.
No, because I asked them to cut my hair.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because kids used to make fun of me because they were like they used to tell me I look like a girl all the time.
Now, why do the kids make fun of you?
What? Let me get out my Rolodex. We can get into this. This will be a whole new podcast.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord. I'm proud of that one, too, y'all.
That was a good one.
So now we're at Walter's house. And Ellie's absolutely humiliated because the police came over and, like, asked her questions about the murder. And she did not detest Lamar because of the money. And Walter makes a statement that he's going to buy back control of the newspaper. So we're at the hospital, and they're JB's talking to Haskell about everything that's happening, and Haskell's not surprised about somebody trying to murder him, but it does feel like his big story, and he asked JB to do the footwork or leg work. And she's like, no. And Haskell eventually convinces her. I have an uncomfortable yet brave opinion about this.
Okay.
I don't like Haskell very much. I don't enjoy him as an actor in this at all.
I didn't like him at first. However, later, when he's later with the cigar and everything, I was into it. I was like, this is what I needed.
Like, I don't like him. Like he's the weak point to this episode for me.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's the family. I personally think it's the newspaper family for me. I'm like, meh, I don't care that much about them.
Well,
except for the daughter. Her little exclamation that she does.
Later. I own 18% of this company, and I don't care. It's making me rich. Daddy, I'm living off the stock of this company. What are you talking about?
I was like, that is a dynasty moment, honey.
Oh goodness.
All she was missing were shoulder pads. That was it.
Yeah, where are the shoulder pads in this show?
She doesn't deal with a lot of super rich people. Remember, that was a rich people thing.
My family all wore shoulder pads.
I know, but on TV that was a rich people thing.
That's true.
Remember, that's part of like what made the difference between working class and super wealthy people. Like that was one of the fashion cues.
So we have 30 minutes to wrap this stuff up. So we're at a park. Oh God. We're at a park, and Kay and Perry are arguing as they're loading up children into a bus.
Yes, because those children aren't traumatized enough being orphans.
So JB shows up, and she asks Perry about Lamar. He's like, he just walks away. And Kay doesn't want to talk about it, but then she's like, JB's like, we want to do a real story about him. And Kay opens up. Thinks he's a newspaper guy, but he doesn't have like the newspaper chops.
Mm-hmm.
She's been working on a story about unwanted kids. Lamar said it wasn't like sensational enough, and we found out that Kay was adopted, and from Tulsa, Oklahoma, is where she was adopted from. She spent the first 4 years in an adoption agency there, or in an orphanage. And as they're leaving, JB waves to this little girl who does this weird hand thing at JB. It's very creepy, and they drive off. I don't know if you saw that. The
Yes,
little
I
girl
did.
with the
I
little,
did.
oh, like, oh, no. No, 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 no. So we're back at the hospital, and Haskell's smoking a cigar, typing. And my favorite character in this whole thing, Mrs. Phillips, RN, comes in and has no time for his bullshit.
No.
Rolling her eyes back in the back of her head. We found out that Haskell found a society editor from Tulsa that he's going to interview for the piece.
Mm-hmm.
And JB found out that Lamar was on shaky financial grounds.
That's not
Yes,
good.
it's never good to be on shaky grounds.
No, honey, no. I mean,
No,
unless
girl.
you know it's like a vibrating bed, girl.
Oh.
Just make sure to keep your lube on the
You know,
nightstand, honey.
I've never been a big fan of vibrators.
Oh, like so we're actually talking about vibrators. Um,
Have you ever tried one?
I'm sure I have.
Okay.
Obviously, didn't leave much of an impression if I have. I don't think I actually have, actually.
Okay.
Now that I think about it.
I mean, they've just never done it for me. Like sex toys in general never really did it for me. What?
Did you hear that?
Oh yeah, my husband dropped something downstairs. It's fine.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, the thing that's about the thing about social media now is that it's we've reached that age where it's also kind of like everything bombards us with sex toy ads now too, because and now it seems like they have sex toy ads where the sex toys basically just have sex with you. like
Yeah.
it's not even just like vibrators anymore. They just have sex with you, and you're like,
Back
oh,
in
okay.
my day, that was a KitchenAid.
Dear listeners, are used to, the people have rigged up KitchenAids for the don't Google it. We're back at BDS.
Well, we know what's gonna happen after this podcast. And if you do Google it, please come back for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. Perry asks Billy to quit. You need to get back to work. You don't know what you're talking about. Perry's like, well, my dad's going to run this thing again. You have no idea. You need to get back to work and leave, and I'm going to forget everything you said. Well, JB's here.
Hey.
And she talks to Perry, and he just walks away again. Then JB goes up to Billy and starts talking. I started with Lamar 25 years ago.
Oh, all right.
I don't like the way he treated people, but, I think he left some money to myself and Clyde, and that's really it. That's really all I know. I've got to go to an editorial meeting now, JB. It's nice talking to you.
No, still get some water on your way there. You're a little,
I'm
got a
good.
little
I'm
grovelly.
good. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of people with Southern accents to be in Boston. Anyway, JB goes over to Lassiter, and he's like, I never speak ill of the dead. Ha 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 ha.
That's the whole premise of this show.
Do you think that they took the ketchup off his cheek before they buried him?
I think they put some mustard with it.
Do you like mustard?
I like mustard on certain things. I actually like mustard as a flavoring agent more than a condiment.
Oh, it's great in like a salad dressing. You just add a little scoop
Yeah.
of dry mustard and mix it in because it makes it go together better.
Yeah.
It's called emulsification. It's an emulsifier. It's amazing.
Yeah, I do. I like it. I was, it's interesting. It's funny you bring that up. I've been having a hard amount of trouble finding mustard seeds lately. Like no store has them. It seems like,
Ha-
and it
ha-
was really. I
have,
had to get them on Amazon because like a recipe called for them, and I literally went to like 5 stores, and I was like, why does nobody have mustard seeds anymore?
do you have an Indian grocery store near you?
Yeah.
Go to that.
Well, I mean, it was already closed by the time I was shopping for it, so I had to go to like just like the other stores. But I mean, it used to be a little bit more common in regular stores.
It's true. It's true. Did you go to Walmart?
I went to the Walmart, I went to the Publix, I went to the Winn Dixie. I went over and because I was feeling fancy, we went over to Fresh Market, and nothing. It was nothing.
Mm,
It was all powdered. It was all powdered and ground up, and I didn't need that because it wasn't going to distribute right in the flavoring.
okay, then. I see. Next time, go to the Indian place.
I know. I already went and got some, so it's fine. I mean, I
That's
got it
right.
after the fact, but it was just really because I remember being a kid. Like that wasn't an unusual thing. Like
No,
mustard
no,
seeds.
it's because
Yeah.
Jesus. So we're at Walter's house again.
That's the problem. I'm not in the South. That's what it is.
I mean we use mustard seed in a lot of stuff. Like it's we although mustard powder's used more, I guess, for flavoring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So I was trying to make corned beef.
yeah, you can't really use mustard powder. No,
Mm-mm. No.
no. Mm-mm. Did I tell you the corned beef story?
Strangely, no.
So about the woman and the corned beef and the out of a can. I thought I did.
No.
So dear listeners, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. I was sitting there, went out to breakfast with some people at work. I definitely told you this story. Anyway, I went out to breakfast with some of my people at work, and um, she wanted the corned beef, and like he not corned beef. What was it? What's the kind of beef you get in a can?
Chipped beef?
No. Is it corned beef? Is it corned beef hash?
Yes. Corned
Okay,
beef
so
hash is what you get in a can.
so yeah, corned beef hash. And so she was like, she asked me, "Do you think this is from a can?" I was like, "It's definitely from a can." She's like, "Well, I'm gonna ask." I was like, "You don't have to. It's definitely from a can." And the waitress comes over there and she's like, "Corned beef hash? Oh, that's from a can, ma'am." And then she made a face, and the other dude at the table was like, "I'll have that. I love corned beef hash from a can." That's my story. That's all I got. It wasn't that great. We're back. Was it? That's a lie. We're back at Walters.
You had me at beef.
Boof. We're back at Walters, and we find out that Bennett's stock is not for sale.
Mm.
But Ellie is just as happy as she can be because she's making money.
She getting that money, honey. That's that Knots Landing money, girl.
That's exactly right. So now
Not quite Dallas.
we're at a park again, and there's jogging. Clyde is jogging. JB jogs beside of him for like a second.
Yes.
Then she sits down, and but she talks to him while they're jogging. We found out that Clyde worked for Bennett for 16 years, and Lamar left him 25,000 ruble dollars.
Wow.
Yeah. In 2 to 3 seasons, that'll be 100,000 ruble dollars. In 5 seasons, that'll be 500,000 ruble dollars.
It's inflation.
Well, that and it's fracking money is what it is.
Fracking money. Thanks, fracking.
So he was a father to him, and apparently Lamar found him on the oil fields.
Mm-hmm.
And he absolutely did not tamper with the pills because the pills have been turned over to the police, so they know for sure that he didn't tamper with them. Now, you said that she was sleeping with him. I think Clyde was sleeping with him.
I mean, it was weird. I'm not gonna lie, it was weird. It was very the vibes about that.
A
whole
man
thing
who was
felt
never
weird.
married keeps a muscle man around always.
In the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're just friends, y'all, but they're always together. all
You
they,
saw how sad he was too when he realized he was dead, girl. He was sad.
and let me just add in, they live in a house together. There's
Oop,
only one bedroom.
oop. And he can afford more than one.
Anyway, we're back at the hospital.
Scandalous.
Scandalo. JB basically tells Haskell. Haskell like starts hounding her about stuff. JB's like puts up her finger, does a silky nutmeg ganache, and tells him to settle the fuck down.
Slow your roll, better roll.
I am not your bitch, and you will not treat me as such.
Honey.
Thank you and
Yummy,
good night. We found out that Haskell gets a call from the woman in Tulsa. Lamar had an affair. There was a child born, and the mother died directly after childbirth.
Oh no.
We also find out, JB puts something together, that Kay was born around that time in an orphanage on the outskirts of Tulsa. Scroll down. So we're at the police station, and we find out the sinus meds were sinus meds.
Okay.
And the lieutenant's very annoyed with like JB asking her questions. JB's there, she's asking questions. She's very annoyed, but she's also experiencing a lot of sexism at work.
I mean, it was the 80s.
Yeah. Well, they find out that Eleanor, well, they have the coroner's report, the autopsy report.
Mhm.
It's sitting on the desk, away from JB. The Tierney walks in, and we find out that Eleanor had everything on her hanky where she wiped the ketchup off. It had ketchup, alcohol, and the drug on it.
Oh.
So it had everything. So they're getting ready to go arrest Eleanor. There is a woman that comes in asking for the lieutenant's signature, and JB sneaks a look at the autopsy report and sees that there's type AB negative blood, and notices the autopsy report time at 11:50 p.m.
Oh wow.
The lieutenant looks up at JB's like, I will accept everything if you provide me evidence, but do not send me a racism smoke signals.
It's weird. This particular episode came at an unusual time because I was just talking about AB negative blood on Thursday
Okay.
because a friend of mine has AB negative blood and was telling me about that. I was like, oh wow, that's really rare.
Yeah, that sucks for them.
So when this came up, I was like, this is strangely timed.
Yeah, that really sucks for them.
I know.
I mean, kind of. They can accept any negative blood. It's just negative blood is more rare than positive blood. I'm if they were O negative, that one's the one that sucks the worst.
What's your blood type?
Why? Who's asking?
I just asked. That's what...
I'm the most common one, O positive.
Oh, you're like my mom.
Yeah, I mean, like 70% of people or something like that are O positive. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm A positive.
That's like the second most common.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, you will. No.
Ooh, are you offering? Are you gonna put that O in me? Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
Ain't nobody owing today. Anyway,
Ooh,
we're on the street. And the black nurse from earlier, she had a little screenshot early, like a non-speaking role, but now she's going to speak because thanks SAG-AFTRA. She is, that's guild work, girl.
I love it.
She's like, I'm not supposed to do this and violate HIPAA, but here's a list of blood donors we got. And JB finds out that Kay also has AB negative blood. Which is...
I know. Shh.
Okay.
We both know.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into it. We did both do well at biology.
I mean, it could happen. It could happen.
Oh, no. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying that's real.
Yeah.
A very specific combination of people.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So I guess they found each other at a convention?
So we're back at the hospital. And Haskell is convinced that Kay did it.
Okay.
And JB's like, no, she was with me this entire time. She was with me. The nurse comes in, Nurse Ratchet comes in, and gives Haskell his meds.
Mm-hmm.
He pretends to take it, and Haskell slips it out of his hand and puts it in the ashtray.
Because that's great for a person who's just had a heart attack.
It's true. JB looks up and goes, "Hey, what time does the paper go out? The nightly. What time do you have to have the stuff into the paper to go out first thing in the morning?" Well, 8:30, 8:45. So JB rushes over BDS. There's somebody following her in. JB sneaks in as a nurse by guilting the guard to give blood. She goes upstairs and goes to a file cabinet, and Billy comes in. What are you looking for? Informational Kay Garrett. And how'd you know? How long did you know that Lamar was her dad? Was what she asked Billy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Oh well, I've known forever." Lamar brushed her off. And you had to kill him. You switched the pill, and when Clyde went out, and you gave him the other pill, and you knew that night when he drank alcohol, he would die. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, there were no sinus meds in the autopsy report. And the cause of death was cerebral hemorrhage.
Oh.
But that was not known until 1 hour after the newspaper came out. Fine, I did it. I couldn't stand that anymore. And I told Lamar about her, and he said never to mention it again. And Kay doesn't know any of this, and I'm not going to tell her. Well, Clyde's here with a gun.
Oh, Lord.
JB's like, don't shoot him, and he doesn't. So we're back at the hospital. We find out Perry and Walter are back in charge of the paper. Ellie's going to help at the paper. Kay now knows, and she's trying to cope with it. She's probably going to get a lot of money from that.
Yes, girl. Please do.
And Haskell's offered an overseas assignment and offers to have JB go along with him. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Did you enjoy this episode?
Of course I did.
Yeah, it was a
yes.
mess. It was a mess. It was a fun mess, but it was a mess.
Absolutely loved it. I mean, every time, we've said this before, every time she goes out of Cabot Cove, it's always going to be a hot mess.
Hey, man, why don't you tell our dear listeners where they can find you?
Sure. Hello, dear listeners. It's I, Auntie Maim, your favorite relation. You can find me on social media, Auntie Maims with an S. You can find me also in real life at the Villain Theater in Miami. It's an improvised comedy and stand-up theater. We have shows all week. You can find out about them at villaintheater.com. I host Amazing Colossal Karaoke, which is a cabaret show on South Beach, which is every Thursday night. And you can find me talking with other queer people in the community on the It's Happening Out network, which you can find out on all your different social platforms. So how about you, Mims?
Hey, y'all, I'm the Divine Miss Mims. You can find me online at Divine Miss Mims. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Did you know we have Patreon?
Yes, I did.
Dear listeners, go to patreon.com. Mims May, you can throw some money. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Did you know we have another podcast?
What?
It's called Baking Sugar. It's a Designing Women podcast. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Did you know we have merchandise?
No.
I know because you didn't buy. But, dear listeners, if you want to be better than Maim, you can go to mimsmaim.com and actually buy something. Hey, Maim.
Yes.
Do you know what I love?
What?
Making fun of you and 5-star reviews. Dear listeners, if you like us, you love us, you want some more of us, please leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us.
It does a lot, actually.
It really, really does. Maim, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Then why don't you say goodnight, Maim?
Good night, man.
Bye, y'all.